You're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. Parasites are the topic among social media and just in general, and it's good that a lot of people are talking about it. I recently had the Worm Queen on the show. If you haven't listened to that episode, it is fire. So go back and listen to that. And since then, I got her Parasite cleanse, and I'm going to share what happened to me. And I am recording this on May 29th, 2025. A few weeks ago, we got not one, but two puppies within 24 hours of each other. So our home went from a zero pet house to a puppy-filled environment, and we immediately started searching for the best dog food to feed our furry friends. That's when I found Ollie. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the pickiest eaters, made in USA kitchens with high-quality, human-grade ingredients. Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives, just real food. So how does it work? You fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz, and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. Ollie offers 3 meal plans to choose from, so you can choose between a full fresh plan, fresh topper plan, or a mixed plan with their freshly baked recipes for your special furry baby. They also have treats and supplements. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/digest. Tell them all about your dog and use code DIGEST to get a whopping 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/digest and enter code DIGEST to get 60% off your first box. If you're buying quality food and ingredients like grass-fed meat and organic produce, but still cooking with pots and pans containing forever chemicals, then all your efforts to clean eating kind of just went out the window. I personally have been using Our Place non-toxic ceramic cookware and absolutely love it. Not only are they easy to use, easy to clean, but also very lightweight, which was something I hated with my previous non-toxic pots and pans. Our Place offers a variety of toxin-free cookware ranging from slow cookers, blenders, pots, pans, bakeware, and even dinnerware with all a modern, sleek style. Their non-stick cookware is made with ceramic, but most importantly, they're made without PFAS, lead, or cadmium. They're also oven safe for up to 450 degrees for all your favorite stovetop to oven recipes. These are the perfect gifts for your family, friends, and of course, yourself. Stop cooking with toxic cookware and upgrade to Our Place today. Visit FromOurPlace.com/digest and use code DIGEST for 10% off site-wide with a 100-day risk-free trial, free shipping, and free returns. You can experience this game-changing cookware with zero risk. So, last night, I passed Parasites, and granted, today is like day 4 of the Parasite cleanse. So I started on Memorial Day, which was Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, today's Thursday. So it's the 4th day. And the 3rd night into the 4th day, because I passed them in the middle of the night around 3:30 in the morning. And it was intense because I will tell you, again, everyone's different. So I'm just sharing my experience. The Worm Queen, she shares that some people may not experience die-off symptoms. Some people may not even see parasites in the toilet, but they just feel better overall, because some parasites you can't see with the naked eye, and you have to see them under a microscope. And so the ones that I saw, obviously you could see with the naked eye. And I want to share what I did, first of all. So like day 1, I started with the cleanse, and I'll put the link to the cleanse in today's show notes. I know I don't have a code for it, so I'll include the code. I'm pretty sure it's just digest, so it will save you some money if you want to try the cleanse. But it's a tincture cleanse. So That's nice because you can adjust as opposed to pill form. You just kind of have to take the pill. You can't alternate like a little less if you are feeling like it's too intense for you. So the tincture form is really nice because you can do drops and you can do less drops or you can do, I wouldn't recommend doing more than what's recommended, but you can definitely cut back if needed. So that's the benefit of the tinctures. And so I did the tinctures, and what I did is there's 4 different bottles, and so you do 3 of the bottles at once. It's 3 times a day. So I would put the tinctures in a little glass cup and then add just like a splash of water just to mix it and drink it. You can put it under your tongue, but you have to count how many drops. It's 15 drops of each. And so when you put it under your tongue, it's really hard to count because you're unsure. You can't really see what's going in your mouth. So I just did it that way. I put it in a glass so I could count every single drop. And then I drank the like 2 ounces of water. So that's what I did. And then you're supposed to wait, and then you can't eat for a certain amount of time. And then you can eat after you take the tinctures, and then you have to wait again. Like, I'm not going to tell you the exact directions because that's kind of besides the point. It comes with the cleanse. But basically, I did follow directions. The directions I didn't follow. So I have been off meat. So a lot of people, including the Worm Queen, a lot of people say to go off meat and do more of a high fruit diet. And so I was a little hesitant because, first of all, I'm like, how am I going to survive without meat? And second of all, I don't typically eat a lot of, I mean, I eat fruit, but I don't eat a lot of fruit just because of the sugar and candida. And like, I don't want to have another issue, right? So I was a little fearful of that, but I was like, okay, let's just start the way I'm supposed to start, and then we'll see how it goes. So far, again, it's like day 4, but so far, I haven't felt any yeast or candida issues, but I think I'm going to cut back on the fruit in general. Now, the meat, I have not had meat in 4 days. And I have been doing protein powder though. And so I've been doing, of course, my protein powder, which I'll talk about because there's actually scientific evidence that it can help with that. But I've been also doing like the Equip. I do the Equip collagen, and their beef protein is great. The reason they say no meat is I think they want to feed off of like the meat, if that makes sense. Like like beef protein, it's a powder as opposed to like the actual substance of meat. So again, that's just what I did. It also says to avoid dairy, which I have avoided dairy. I typically do in general, but I do eat Greek yogurt. So I kept the Greek yogurt in my diet. And uh, I know my body. And so I know that it really helps with digestion. It helps me personally. And it's a good source of protein, especially if you're not eating meat. So I kept the Greek yogurt in my diet. Obviously, I passed the parasites, which we'll get into too. But needless to say, even though I kept dairy in my diet, it still was very effective on the 3rd day. So again, that's what I did. And I'm also debating as I continue to maybe cut back on the fruit and maybe even incorporate some meat, as long as it's grass-fed, high-quality meat, as well as eggs. So I'm going to dabble with that. I have heard that if you're eating quality meat, you should be okay. And obviously, it has to be very well cooked. So we'll see. But I'm just sharing my experience up until this 4th day. So I'm going to share my symptoms that I was having. So in case you are going through it or you're thinking about it, you know what to expect. So I had a headache from day 1 to day 3 until I passed my first quote clump of parasites. And they were like tangled into a ball, but then in the toilet, they separated and I could see them individually. Of course, I took a video and photos, but I'm not going to share those. But some parasites were translucent, kind of like a jellyfish. And I'm going to warn you right now, like if you get grossed out by this kind of stuff, just stop listening, because I'm just going to share the nitty gritty. I'm just going to lay it out there. And I really hope it helps people, because I want to share how I don't want to say trapped them, but how I pulled them out of the toilet. So I used these really long, they were throwaway chopsticks. They were wooden, like we got them from Erewhon, like they're the throwaway kind. And so I use these really long wooden chopsticks, because this is, again, I'm just sharing here. So some are translucent, but you could kind of like still move them around in the toilet. So they were obviously, there was some substance there. And then, but many were a light tan color. They were about 8 to 12 inches long each. So I'm going to share. So pass up until that point. So I passed them around 3:30 in the morning, the day before the night of passing them. This was day 3. I was experiencing the worst headache of all the headaches, major stomach cramps and bloating. And all day, I wasn't able to think clearly, nor could I comprehend what my husband was saying to me. He would talk sentences and I would hear the words, but I couldn't put the words together and truly understand anything. It was so weird and obviously incredibly frustrating. And I told him, I was like, I hear the words, I know you're talking to me, but my brain is in such a fog. Like, I can't understand or comprehend what you're saying. And of course, he knew that I was on the cleanse. So he was, understanding, but it was frustrating. And I'm like, why do I just feel like I can't even think? And so the same day, I also did an enema around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, which I do think helped speed up the parasites leaving me that evening. Okay, so I believe that's key. I'll also link the enema the enema kit that I recommend in today's show notes. It's by Happy Bum. I have a code for them too, so it could save you some money, because it's not cheap, but definitely worth it. And so that night, so last night, it got pretty bad. And I even told myself I didn't want to continue. I was just like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I am in so much pain right now. I was like, why did I even start this? Because honestly, my stomach was fine. Like, I wasn't actually having symptoms of parasites. We just thought, my husband is going to start the parasite cleanse soon as well. But we just thought, well, you know what? Let's try it, because apparently 95% of humans have parasites. So assuming we're in the 95 percentile, let's just do it, right? So I wasn't like experiencing bad symptoms. And I was like, shoot, why did I even start this? I didn't even have symptoms. Like, I was so mad at myself, because here I was like, I finally have my gut in check and everything's going smoothly and I'm not having issues. And here it's my fault for doing this cleanse. But so that was my mindset when I went to bed that night. And I took some pretty high doses of CBD with some THC, because I just didn't want to be conscious. The pain was so bad. Like, that's how bad it was. I was like, just knock me out. I just want to sleep through the night. And so I woke up around 11:50 p.m. It's like, we go to bed pretty early. We go to bed at like maybe, I don't know. I can't remember what time I went to bed. I passed out maybe 9. But I woke up around 11:50. And because I just couldn't sleep. And this is very rare whenever I take CBD, let alone THC, because they just knock me out in the best way. And I sleep through the entire night, but not this time. I was wide awake. My body and joints were aching like crazy. Imagine a toothache, but imagine that feeling all over your body. Like, if a toothache could have a body feeling, like, that's how it was all over my body. And in particular, my bones, which was really weird. I didn't even know your bones could ache. My legs were also cramping tremendously, even though I was drinking water and element electrolytes. I made sure I was definitely hydrating myself throughout this process. But even so, my legs felt like I had just ran a marathon. So I ended up just getting out of bed and making some tea and toast while catching up on work on my computer to pass the time. Again, you're not supposed to have toast, but I was like over it. I was like, whatever. Um, so it was just dry toast. And I think I drank at least 6 or 7 cups of tea with some cashew milk. I always add a little cashew milk with my tea. Um, and then after about the 6 or 7 cups, I felt the urge to go to the bathroom. And I was like, yes, finally, like I was just thinking I was going to have a bowel movement. Um, you know, but so, all right, no pun intended, but whatever. I sat on the toilet and I thought I had just passed a small bowel the size of a golf ball. And I was like, okay. But in fact, there was actually no poop whatsoever. That ball of stool, so I thought I passed, was actually a ball of parasites intertwined. And it's crazy. And I remember passing parasites like over like maybe 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. This was back when I was really, really ill. So hold on, let me do the math. It was like in 2014, 2015, so about 10 years ago. Um, and I remember when I was passing them, I would not pass any poop. Like it would just be the parasites alone, but it felt like you were passing stool. And so I remembered that and I was like, oh, typically when you do pass parasites, it's just the parasites. They're not typically within your stool. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, that you don't have to like be going through your own feces here. Like it's just the parasites that pass alone, which is really odd, but I think that's how it works. So, gross. I know. But hey, you guys, you were fair warned at the beginning of this episode. Okay. So it's your fault for listening. All right. So I was happy. I was like, okay, fine. So I could finally get like an hour of rest before I had to get up this morning at like 5 a.m. to leave my house at 5:45. I had a doctor's appointment that I had to be at by 7 a.m. for my mold treatment. So today, I mean, I still don't feel right. And I feel like I could pass, honestly, I feel like I could pass more parasites, but I'm just trying to be patient. I am literally in my pajamas all day today, just trying to make it through. And I know it may seem intimidating, but a little while of suffering for freedom of an ongoing pain that you may, be having, it's totally worth it. If you are like, of course, I wasn't in pain before doing this. So I'm like, ugh. But I mean, I'm glad I did. Apparently I had parasites, but as I think we all do. But if you are just in pain and you're like, oh, I for sure know I have parasites, but you're scared to do the cleanse, I mean, what's a little, couple weeks of intense pain for just freedom after that, right? Like, I think it's totally worth it. And I mean, it's just, that's just in my opinion. So I already kind of went through what I was eating and like my dietary plans moving forward. But one thing I did want to note, and that I mentioned previously, was my protein powder. So my protein powder is like a saving grace because it is a complete protein. It has all 9 essential amino acids. And so that is very sustainable. It also doesn't bloat me. It doesn't constipate me. Also, within the cleanse, I do want to note you take a binder at the very end of the evening, like after dinner, right before you go to bed. And binders can oftentimes constipate you. So, but my protein powder, it kind of does the opposite. It doesn't make you have the runs, but it just keeps things flowing and moving. So I made sure I had my protein fluff every evening for dinner with like some Greek yogurt. It was just really easy on my tummy. And fun fact, pea protein is actually alkalizing to your body. And you want to keep your body alkalized, especially during a parasite cleanse, because parasites, they do not want to live in an alkaline environment. And pea protein alkalizes your body, which is really cool to know. And obviously you can get any pea protein powder. Just make sure there's no gums, there's no natural flavors, there's no stevia, and there's no monk fruit. Monk fruit can also give you crazy headaches. It does for me. It can also upset your gut. It does for me. And our protein powder, shameless plug, but we remove the lectins as well. So it makes it easier to digest. I don't believe all pea proteins remove the lectins, which is actually an anti-nutrient. And that's why I think a lot of people are hesitant to try my pea protein if they haven't, because they've tried others and they're like, it makes me so gassy, it bloats me. It's probably because that protein powder contained lectins. So in Bethany's Pantry protein powder, we remove the lectins. We also, we source it from Europe. So there's no chance of glyphosate being sprayed, because it's actually illegal for glyphosate to be sprayed on pea crops in Europe. So there's no glyphosate, there's no lectins. Obviously, there's no natural flavors, no gums, no stevia, no monk fruit. And then we add a little bit of coconut sugar. I want to be like transparent, but there's like 3 to 4 grams of coconut sugar, and it's still low glycemic. And if you're eating fruit on the Candida diet, then that's way more than 3 grams of sugar. So I think you're good there. But if you are afraid of the sugar, we do have a plain option as well with no sugar. And that's the protein bake. So I'll leave that link in today's show notes in case you're interested. I also do recommend using an enema kit, because I think that does help speed up the process of eliminating the parasites. And you don't have to do the enema kit, but I think it can be very helpful, especially because yesterday I was just so uncomfortable, and that's why I did the enema. And it did help relieve some of the pressure and pain. So I feel like if you're going to do the cleanse, you might as well just like go all in and do the enema kit as well. So that's just my tip. Again, I'm still like in the thick of it, but I just wanted to hop on here to share some facts, what happened like in the moment, because I know I'm going to forget later on. And so I hope this bite of knowledge was helpful and insightful and hopefully encouraging. I do not want to discourage you from doing this. We are strong humans here. We can do this. And the whole point is to obviously feel better after the fact. Sometimes you have to push through in order to make it to the other side. So I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To check out more shows by my team, go to wellnessloud.com, and to email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.
Are you looking to reclaim your health? Tune into the Real Foodology podcast, hosted by me, Courtney Swan, integrative nutritionist and real food activist. I'm on a mission to transform our food system by challenging the corrupt practices that undermine our health and replace them with choices that genuinely support our well-being. Listen to Real Foodology podcast on your favorite podcast app. New episodes every Tuesday.